Welcome to the truth about knee longevity in under 5 minutes. Let's start with the fact that for older people, falling is the number one source of ER visits, over 2 million ER visits per year, and the number one source actually of death in older people is falling. And a study was done and it showed that for older people, backwards walking alone can be an effective screening process for the risk of falling. But look what happens. Walking backwards is simply how good your knee is over your toe. So this data would force the whole medical community, it's not everyone, but the overwhelming majority of exercise science and medical says no knee over toe. So they would have to admit they're wrong. So we have this data now. We can help people. So either they have too much ego to admit they're wrong, or they're making too much money to admit they're wrong. Now let's look at this. About 40 billion is made per year on knee replacements and this even comes down into some of the younger population, but over 40 billion per year is made right now on knee replacements, and that number by 2030 is expected to be closer to 150 billion, because we're having about 790,000 knee replacements now. We're expected to have 3.5 million knee replacements per year by 2030. Guess who's predicting that? The American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, the very people who profit on cutting open our knees, and we already are leading the world in knee surgeries, are now projecting us to skyrocket. But with backward walking alone, we have answers, because older populations in other countries like China, where they teach their elderly to walk backwards to protect their knees, they're having one knee replacement for every 19 of ours. So think about it. Your knee over your toe is your body's number one defense mechanism against knee pain, knee injury, because even a study on the strength of yourself to step down, the stronger you are stepping down, the less chance of knee pain and knee surgery you have. So our number one defense for our knees, we are now prohibited from working that. Think about that for a second. Think about the money being made on that, and now what they're predicting for us. So it doesn't matter just that we have the solutions, we have to spread them, we have to teach them. And it's up to people like you and me, because the medical community clearly, even with data in hand of how to help us, is not going to give us the answers. Now, moving on from backward walking, there's also just strengthening the very muscle that reacts before you even get to the point of falling when you're walking, and that's the tibialis. And look, I'll start doing a set of 25 right now, and if you're watching this and you've never done it, you should do a set of 25, because I'm not talking about a joke exercise, okay? And the farther you stand out, the harder it is. No bending of the knees for this one, because we're working what's under the knee. Now consider exercise science again. What does exercise science want? It wants big acceleration from the hips, because exercise science has failed to realize that as you go from the hip to knee to ankle, your tendons get bigger and stronger. Exercise science is only looking at the muscles, and it only cares about acceleration, doesn't care about deceleration, and that's a mathematical fact based on where exercise science is putting its money. So no study's been done on strengthening the tibialis, but I have the most knee success stories in history, from common sense stuff like this, from safely getting stronger with your knee over your toe. And that's the purpose of the knee longevity program in this video, and everything this week that has to do with longevity is safely, without pain, getting good at the very qualities that evidence proves we need to be good at. So how are you doing on your set of 25? If it gets too hard, just back up a little bit more. Yeah, we're talking about getting really strong in this muscle, which is going to reduce the load into our knees with every step you take for the rest of your life. And then I'm probably getting somewhere around 25. The final quality for falling, protecting our knees, full knee bend, full knee bend. And I'm not talking about just beating ourselves up with it, but being able to do that. Even doctors, on analyzing 164 research papers, determined no, full knee bend actually means you have a healthier knee. But how do you get there? So let's take my left knee that has 3 surgical alterations that, based on the surgeries I had, this thing was never supposed to fully bend again. I was actually never supposed to be able to play high-level sports. And it's not just me able to do this. Hamstring cover the calf without the back knee touching the floor, torso perfectly vertical. This is your longevity standard. And we have people, my mom included, 66 years young, and she's doing this, and she's got the same genetics. I was having knee surgeries at 18. So it's not just because I'm young, because I literally proved that genetically with my mom doing this. So you can put yourself and your loved ones in the upper 1% of knee bulletproofing. What I've showed you here, backwards walking and tibialis alone, that's gonna put you in like the upper 10%. ATG split squat will be necessary. I absolutely do not advise it without form coaching, simply because 9 times out of 10, people mess up the form, even when I put free tutorials of it online. I have only one fitness source of income, actually coaching people's form on these movements, which have resulted in the most knee success stories in history. We've made it affordable so anyone can do it. So I already gave you the tips on backward walking and tibialis raise alone. And if you want to do ATG split squat, I suggest you either have someone who's ATG trained or sign up for ATG yourself, because this goes 2 ways. This is both for you, if you're older, to know exactly what to do, but also for ATG members to know how to help others. I was trying to do under 5 minutes. I don't think I made it, but I think you can give me 6 minutes to help me change the world, because the medical community is intentionally not going to help us, and they're predicting our problems to get worse, and it's only you and I who can change that. And factually, statistically, ATG is making the biggest difference on the planet to do so. So thank you, every ATG member. Thank you for going on this journey with me. We're actually changing it. We will not allow 3.5 million knee replacements in 2030.